lovely summer days like this. Thank you very much, James, from ANZ Migration, who is helping us by coordinating this seminar today. So I'm just going to start and have a chat. My name's Prudence. By way of background and introduction, I've been recruiting. I set up Accent 16 years ago, and I've had a pleasure. This is my 7th visit to Singapore to recruit doctors, nurses and medical staff for New Zealand. And I'm really, really blessed and honoured to have some doctors who I've recruited here today, some doctors who we're currently working with and going through the recruitment process, and looking forward to meeting lots of new people. So tēnā koutou is a Māori welcome, so thank you for coming. So what we're going to talk about today, and it'll be pretty relaxed, just in a good Kiwi style, why New Zealand, what your motivation is, a little bit about Accent Health recruitment, the recruitment process, how to get an interview, how to get your CV formatted to New Zealand style, the registration process with the New Zealand Nurses Board or the Medical Council or any of the other medical councils, and planning your move and setting up here. If you think it makes me look better, yeah. So we're home to a lot of award-winning wineries in New Zealand, which are stunning to visit and appetising to drink, and beautiful cheeses and foods as well. We have a really fascinating Māori culture. Last week my son had a cultural week at school, and in his class of 22 he had 18 children who had parents from overseas. So we had children from Sri Lanka, Australia, Canada, England, Ireland, Rarotonga, India, pretty much all around the world, so it's great we can celebrate these cultures, and New Zealand's very welcoming. We've got breathtaking natural beauty and a wide range of outdoor pursuits. I don't know if I'd quite be doing that, but there's plenty to see and do in New Zealand for the outdoors. We've got stunning beaches, because as you know, New Zealand's very much an island. I was given a statistic by my husband this morning. 1 kilometre squared in New Zealand we have 18 people. 1 kilometre squared in Singapore, 8,200 people. I hope I got that right. We're the real life Middle Earth, and I think the people reflect that. And I don't know if any of you are watching the World Cup rugby, but it's very, very exciting, and it's playing at 4 o'clock this afternoon against England, which is really great. This might be a haka for you. I don't know if anyone's seen a haka. Too distracted by the haka. Yeah. So a little bit about Accent. I'm a nurse by background. I spent 6 years nursing here in the Middle East, and I came back and worked for a couple of large corporates doing recruitment, and then I set up Accent Health Recruitment. This is our 16th year. There's no cost to you for using Accent, and you're not contracted to us, but we do tend to work, like to work exclusively with you. New Zealand's quite a small place, and we'll find there's usually a little bit of conflict if you send your CV to 2 or 3 more different agencies. And you'll find that we're really, really honest and transparent and pretty quick to answer emails. So collectively we've got 45 years experience. I've got 2 fantastic recruiters, Hayley and Kristen, and also Elise, who does a lot of our marketing and communications. So we've got a really good wide range of experience. and we're the preferred suppliers to many of the GP practices and hospitals throughout New Zealand. We're lucky enough to travel overseas, and we come over here, could be up to once a year, I think, even though the journey is quite long. It's great to come over and meet people face to face. As I said, we're free. We assist not just with the job. We help you find a house, help you with your registration, which is a big part of the process, help you with the job search, the interview preparation, and the relocation and the resettlement. So we recruit throughout New Zealand, north, south, east, west. We're actually based in Christchurch, and one of our recruiters is in Auckland. So when you're thinking about coming over, it's really important to start the groundwork now, even 5 years before you come over. With the Medical Council, there's a great process called EPIC, which is an external identification system, and they identify your basic medical degree, your primary medical degree, your medical licence, and any postgraduate certifications you've got. It's a really frustrating part of the process, but it's really important because of identity fraud that we've had in New Zealand in the past. So EPIC can be started at any time, and also the IELTS, the English language test, or the OET. So that's a really important part. Or you can, for Medical Council, request an exemption if you've got English speaking referees. There's always a fine line, and it depends which Medical Council employee you speak to as to whether you get your registration through quickly or not. It just can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, so it's important to be prepared. But it's really great that the employers in New Zealand will wait for you. When you're starting the process to come to New Zealand, references are a really important part of the process, not just for Medical Council, but also for immigration and also for the employers and us. So the referees have to have known you for the last 2 years, worked clinically with you, and also one within the last 6 months. We'll go through the process with you with regards to reference checking, but as I said, it's really important to start that earlier on. And sometimes you can ask up to 5 people. Some referees, that they have to be senior or above you, so you can't use a resident physician if you're applying for a GP position, for example. So it's all about the paperwork, the persistence, and just keep communicating with us. With the time zones, I often get really busy between sort of 12 and 2, which is when Singapore wakes up, and then the UK in the evening as well, and first thing in the morning talking to South Africa and the US. So it's a matter of just keeping on sending emails, or we do WhatsApp and Skype as well. So what to expect? So we conduct a job search on your behalf. You say to us you want to live in a middle-sized city, or a busy city, or a quiet rural area, or something urban, and we match up a job. We get you to have a look online, have a look on Google Earth, and make sure that you're comfortable with that environment. The duration is quite important as far as how long you want to work for. Some employers will want you to be intending to work permanently in New Zealand because it's a big process for them to onboard you. Other employers will say, hey, bring them for 6 months. If it all goes well, we'll extend it. It can take 4 to 12 weeks to find you a job. Last week, amongst the craziness of coming over here, and some of you knew I was turning 50, and I don't that old, but the craziness of the week, I had a doctor who I'm not sure is here, but she had a job offer, and within 18 hours, she presented a CV to me. Within 18 hours, she had a job offer in writing, which was crazy. She'd gone through another agency who unfortunately mishandled her application. She heard of me, she came to me, and it was 18 hours, which was really amazing that we've got this far. Now we're at the good old Medical Council stage. So it can take, as I said, 4 to 12 weeks to find you a job, but if you're recruitment ready, if you've got your IELTS, you've done your EPIC, you've got your registration ready to go, you've got your CV up to date, we'll be able to get you into the job market pretty quickly. If you want, I can send you a copy of a New Zealand format CV and also interview questions. So just email me and one of the girls will reply and just write, please send me CV sample, or please send me interview questions, and I'll send that through to you. So it could be quite a different process. It's always fun wondering what the GP practices will ask. Sometimes they will say, I've seen your CV, great, when would you come to New Zealand? Who are you coming with? Do you need accommodation? Oh, what's your patient time? And that's pretty much, sometimes it can be that brief. Other times they'll talk about, tell me about a situation you've been working with a patient where a child becomes unwell acutely. What is your reaction when you find a patient is misusing drugs? How do you deal with a difficult colleague? When you're treating a patient and they deteriorate, what is your response? How do you deal with a patient coming in with a long list of questions? So all the questions will completely vary, and we never know when you're being interviewed whether it's going to be a short chit chat or a 2-hour panel. We've had interviews 17 minutes to 2 hours 10. So it will vary, and we'll send you all the questions so you've got all the different case scenarios. So, as I said, be open-minded for the process. It's usually by Skype. And bear in mind, some employers will be more nervous than you when they're interviewing you. They might not have used Skype for a video before, so it will always be keep an open mind. And we keep in contact with you now, weekly, monthly, and then when you arrive in New Zealand, absolutely daily, weekly, monthly, just to make sure that you're settled. You've got your bank account, you've got your car, you've got some friends to play with, you've got a nice church to go to, a good volleyball club, whatever's important to you. So working in New Zealand. So this will vary between occupations. It will vary between your basic medical degree and your postgraduate experience, and whether you've done a master's or a diploma. So I can talk to you individually once I get to have a look at your CV. It's at least 2 years is required in New Zealand, if not 3, and your qualifications will be assessed on a one-to-one basis. The degree for physios and nurses, for example, you need the degree equivalent, so they'll look at the transcript of your training and at least 3 to 4 years training for that. Singapore is considered a comparable health system. Just, doctors from Hong Kong or Malaysia who haven't been working in a comparable health system cannot work in New Zealand. So most, if not all, health professionals are on the skill shortage list with immigration. There's been a lot of changes recently. None of them will affect medical professionals on a whole, but the good news is they've opened up the parent category, so you can invite your parents to gain residency in New Zealand, which is a really exciting step. So working requirements, positions are available in almost all locations throughout the year. Sometimes we have a seasonal increase of staff during winter, sometimes in summer when it's the tourist season. Our summer holidays are quite long over December, and that's a lot of the private hospitals, for example, close down for a couple of weeks. And also during Easter, the private hospitals close down for a week, which is great if you want to take some time off. So the interview, employers will interview, as I said, by Skype or FaceTime, also GoMeeting, and Zoom is a really popular one now. But we'll do interview practice with you, go through some questions, and talk through sort of case scenarios depending on who's interviewing you. The job offer, so once you have your interview, they can offer you on the phone. They can ring me and say, yes, I'd like to offer her, but we can't start until this time or until that time. Or they might want to interview other people as well. But usually we've got a pretty good handle on how long the interview process is going to take. In New Zealand, you get paid fortnightly, which is every 2 weeks. And there's a standard 4 weeks minimum paid leave, which is one of the benefits. The relocation cost is not commonly offered by the employer, but often it is. I don't know, just anyway. Multitasking. So the recruitment process and how we work. So we have a Skype or email meeting. We have a look at your CV and we get you to reformat. We're quite interested in skills, for example. Your skills would be, can you cannulate, extubate, plaster, suture, anything specific that you've got. We get you to complete an application form, and that application form gives us permission to contact your referees if you're at that stage. We confirm that your referees are the right types of people and that they've got the right amount of seniority. Sometimes we have to come and go a little bit with the reference reports